Everyone thinks the Garmin Forerunner 165 is a beginner watch with training wheels, but here's the thing, it's the most purpose-built runner's watch under 300 because it nails pace, battery, and coaching better than a lot of pricier gear. I know AMOLED usually means weak battery, budget means missing features, and sub 250 means compromises. But after 3 weeks and roughly 120 miles of testing city canyons, soaked long runs, track intervals, and a couple of strength sessions, what I found genuinely surprised me. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. The current Amazon price I'm seeing is around $229 with a 4.7-star rating. If you're already leaning yes, I've got the best price link below, but don't click away yet because a few caveats could change which version you buy. Here's the setup. I wanted a running first watch that didn't need daily charging, didn't lie to me about pace, and actually helped me structure training. My Apple Watch kept dying midweek and gave jittery pace under trees. A previous budget GPS watch had decent battery but weak coaching and terrible notifications. I was skeptical of an entry-level Forerunner with a bright AMOLED screen, great for looks, usually terrible for longevity. And honestly, I've been burned before by daily suggested workouts that felt random. I wanted real guidance, real recovery insight, and something light enough to forget I'm wearing it. The 43mm Forerunner 165 seemed like the sweet spot, but I went in expecting trade-offs. First, GPS accuracy. I did a 10K route downtown with glass buildings and tight turns. The Forerunner 165 traced within a few meters of my known course, with total distance off by just 0.03 miles compared to a wheel-measured route. But then I took it to a tree-lined trail where cheaper GPS usually drifts. The 165 held a steady pace with only brief wobble when the canopy got dense. Where it faltered slightly was in a narrow alley start, no multiband GPS here, but once locked on, it stabilized quickly. On the track, I ran 12x400m. Laps buzzed within 1-2 seconds of my stopwatch splits, and the auto-lap distance accumulated correctly over 5K. That's rare at this price. Heart rate next. I paired a chest strap Polar H10 for comparison and ran a threshold workout, 3x 10 minutes at tempo. The 165's wrist HR was within 1-2 BPM during steady efforts, but then on sharp surges it lagged about 5-7 seconds, typical for optical sensors, even good ones. On an easy run and a strength circuit with kettlebell swings, HR tracked cleanly, though explosive movements still created brief spikes. Bottom line, very solid for wrist-based HR. If you're training by zones, a strap is still best for intervals. Battery was my big concern with AMOLED. Specs say up to 11 days in smartwatch mode and up to 19 hours in GPS mode. My real world. 9 days on a single charge with 4 GPS runs totaling 4.5 hours, notifications on, gesture-only display, no always on, and medium brightness. Pure GPS drain averaged roughly 4-5% per 30 minutes. A 2-hour long run consumed about 18%. Switch to always-on display and expect a noticeable hit. Leave it off and you'll easily clear a week. Training features are where things got interesting. The daily suggested workouts actually adapted. After a hard VO2 session, it called for 48 hours of easier work and offered a low-intensity run the next day. When I skipped sleep one night, the morning report's sleep, HRV status, training outlook nudged me to stay easy. It's not full-blown training readiness like Garmin's higher-end watches, but between HRV status, training effect, and recovery time, it felt actionable. Garmin coach plans and race-adaptive training suggestions were straightforward to set up and synced sessions right to the watch. Mid-run, the AMOLED made data effortless to read in bright sun, and the physical buttons saved me when rain made the touchscreen less responsive. But then come the compromises. No full-color maps, you get basic navigation and back to start, not topographic detail. It's not multi-band GPS, so in the gnarliest urban canyons you'll see occasional line wiggle. Elevation relies on GPS, so total ascent numbers can be rough compared to barometric watches. Notifications are reliable, but replies are limited, and bank support for Garmin Pay depends on your region. And there's a music decision. The base Forerunner 165 at this price doesn't store offline music. You'll want the 165 music variant if phone-free tunes matter. Here's the revelation. The combination of pace stability, bright readable display, honest battery life, and coaching that actually adapts made this feel like a better trainer than some mid-tier alternatives. I spent hours cross-checking data against a Forerunner 265 and a chest strap. The 265 gives you multiband and more advanced training insights, but in day-to-day runs, the 165 delivered 90% of the experience for far less. Versus an Apple Watch SE, you trade smartwatch polish for endurance, better structured training, and more reliable pace. For most runners, that's the trade that counts. The most surprising piece, how little I missed the extras. I expected to crave maps, multiband, and bigger metrics. Instead, the 165's morning report plus training effect labels gave me enough context to decide, push, maintain, or back off. The race adaptive plans were smarter than the generic calendars I've used elsewhere. Yes, it's not magic. HR lags a touch in sprints, GPS will wobble occasionally near skyscrapers, and AMOLED battery suffers if you crank brightness and always on. But the core experience, train, recover, repeat, is dialed in. At around 229 on Amazon and a 4.7-star rating, the value-to-performance ratio is hard to beat. Now that you know it nails the fundamentals and the coaching actually adapts, the next choice is simple: base model or music. If you want offline playlists for phone-free runs, get the music version. Either way, grab it before the price bounces, link in the description. Bottom line, I recommend the Garmin Forerunner 165 for new runners building consistency, 5K to half-marathon racers chasing PRs, and anyone who wants reliable pace, long battery, and real guidance without paying premium prices. Skip it if you need full maps, multiband precision for dense urban or mountain terrain, or ultra-distance battery. Consider a Forerunner 265 965 or Fenix instead. For everyone else, this is the rare budget-friendly watch that trains like a pro. Trains smart, not flashy. That's the Forerunner 165's superpower.